What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Comics League Live. I'm Jared, and I'm here with the boys. I got Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
Not much. How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty well. And then we got Teladia Plays. What's up? What's up, dude?
What's up, everybody? Hope I'm well. Thank you very much for having me on again.
Anytime. So today we're talking about this apparent purging that's going on at HBO Max and Discovery with like most of the UTC animation. So it came out that so far at HBO Max there's like no plans for a Young Justice season 5, which I'm a little peeved about that because I enjoyed that show. I thought it was pretty good. I love the most recent season, but whatever. What are you going to do? The one thing I was happy about is they're taking off Aquaman. That really, like, I can't believe they authorized this Aquaman cartoon that looked horrible. So what do you guys think?
Can I kick it off?
Well, considering that I haven't even heard of the Aquaman cartoon, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, it's called like Aquaman Kingdom or something like that. It's in that Cal Arts art style, which I hate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got me. That's all you had to say. Say no more.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm honest with you guys, I'm glad that show's got cancelled. Because how many people are gonna watch that? Let's be honest. Not many.
The reason why Zaslav gave for why he's taking these shows off is because not enough people watch these shows for him to justify keeping them on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, well, yeah, of course. If it's, again, he's just cleaning up what the past regime screwed up, whether it's be Batgirl or this. It's really
taking his broom and be like, out with ya.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like it. Yeah, and Don, I see. Here's the thing. Yes, we probably would watch it. I may just watch it before it gets taken off out of morbid curiosity. But here's the thing, though. They're not going to keep it on if not enough people watch it. Because, yes, 100%. Like, take Young Justice, for example. I'm sure that it's an enjoyable show. Tevi and I love it so much. In fact, the first time I was on his stream was to talk about the most recent season. Now, the thing is that it could be a really good show, but if not enough people watch it, it makes no sense for them to continue it, even if it's a show that we genuinely enjoy.
Firefly, case in point.
Yeah, even though, but I was on I did a stream a little while ago, and what's funny, when we were doing the one before the Man of Steel stream, where I had a member of the audience on the show, and we were Nick, I think you were on this, but before you came on, we were talking about Joss Whedon, and I have to, because I said Joss Whedon, I actually do have to do this.
Why did you say that name?
But anyway, so we were talking
why would you don't mention his name?
I have a reason to, because we were talking about, so when he was brought in to do Justice League, you would think he would like identify with Zack, because remember, they technically took Firefly away from him when the show was canceled. So you think he would be like, I don't want to do this to another creator. But of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, what are you going to do? So Jared Hell says, I kind of fell off Young Justice, though I always loved Teen Titans 2003 more. That show was classic.
Thank you. If anything deserves a revival, it's 2003 Teen Titans.
Heck yeah, because this show is amazing, and canceling Young Justice is a mistake. Yeah, but Tevia, here's the thing. It looks like a mistake from our end, from like, in the military, that they call it a 10,000 feet worldview, but when you're in, because Zaslav is trying to save money right now, it doesn't mean that this show is canceled permanently. It could be it's just on hold for right now until he gets the financials in order, until he gets the movies in order, and then we can have those shows. And then PK says, I made the mistake of waiting until episodes come out to binge most of season 5 leading up to the arc. I wonder how many others did the same. That's true. There are plenty of people that decided, I don't want to watch it week to week. Why don't I just like essentially wait until it all comes out. Hey, Medina, what's up, brother? And then Dan Bigelow says, either way, season 4 was on a huge... I know, that's the sad part. They left it on a huge cliffhanger that would have actually been cool. Wait, I am confused because it's TV line says plans could change. It could change. That's what I'm saying, Tevye. It's not a permanent cancellation. He's probably like, let me put this other stuff on hold until I can let me put it this way, at least until like we get the Trinity established and everything, then we can do all these other projects. I'm sorry, Nick, what were you saying?
Until the Trinity is printing money and it can finance all this other crap, they really need to trim the fat.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, this plans can change. They could announce like tomorrow that they decided to renew it. But what I'm saying is that because Harley Quinn is getting a season 4, probably because more people watch Harley Quinn than Young Justice, and enough people watch Harley Quinn to justify it enduring. I'm still surprised Teen Titan Go is a thing. Here's the thing, Jared. They kind of use that show as a meme now. I mean, Zack Snyder's going to do a cameo. And by the way, I'm saying this now. We have to make sure that's the most watched episode of Teen Titans Go of all time. Put it on repeat, people.
The thing about Teen Titans Go is it's so freaking self-aware that it knows it's like it knows its audience. Like they've even said like they've like in universe they'll be like, we want the old Teen Titans back. Like they've it's just such a self-aware show that it's like you gotta respect it to a degree.
Yeah, didn't they do like an Endgame style like cameo fest where you had like the Teen Titans from the Teen Titans v Justice League movie showed up? I checked the numbers. Young Justice did amazing on the service. Yeah, but
they actually. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Teladia.
The reason is, Tevye, as well, is that you can't check numbers on HBO Max. That's something you can't do.
Yeah.
You can't check the numbers. Only way you could check that it would be, let's say, Netflix or something along the lines of that. But HBO don't release their numbers.
Yeah, and we encountered this when we were trying to get numbers on Zack Snyder's Justice League when it came out. They don't release the numbers, so really it's not really that reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
so in terms of
hope for is maybe some back end service that releases the numbers.
But in terms of like comparing it to Harley Quinn show and stuff like that, I don't think it should be compared in terms of popularity and stuff like that. But the way I see it going forward, you gotta remember, Young Justice is like nearly a decade old now.
Yeah, it's an older show. Harley Quinn has more of. I like to say that people are still in the honeymoon phase of Harley Quinn because it's a relatively new show, and if a show goes on for like a long time, a lot of the audience drops off because they're just tired of it and newer content comes out. So Medina says also you guys are lucky that there are shows that only last one season and with a massive cliffhanger but fall completely under the radar, leaving 0% chance for renewal. Yeah, exactly. Some of my favorite shows on Netflix got canceled after one season. Heck, Swamp Thing! That ended on a hell of a season.
Jupiter Ascending. Ascending.
I thought that show was actually pretty good.
I liked it too. It was basically it was kind of like the Boys or Invincible, but like the exact opposite tone. Like instead of being like nihilistic, it had more of a hopeful tone to it.
Kind of more of a hopeful thing. But the thing I love about that show is that everyone has very similar superpowers in that series. But I was like, okay. But I definitely enjoyed it. I see what you're saying, Nick. And so also, yes, Jared, I agree with you. Warner Brothers in DC is a mess right now, and that warrants this clip right here.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
That's my favorite clip I have, I think, of my list right here.
So it's definitely your most played. So one thing to also note about Young Justice is it was off the air for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it came back, and that's really good. That's a really good sign of it. But that's 10 years of lost momentum. That's 10 years of like it being outside of the public consciousness. So it has a lot of catching up to do. Whereas Harley Quinn is a new show and it's gaining natural momentum, and it never had that break. So
and Tevye, don't compare the live action movies to the animation. That's two different things. The reason why they're continuing on with like the Black Canary movie, supposedly, and the Green Lantern series is because they don't intersect that. They're not dependent so much on like say the Flash, so they can afford to like come out with that and not have like so many reshoots. it's a different it's two very different scenarios and actually two different teams. Yeah, go ahead, Teladia.
Also, I'd like to add on to this is just the fact that add on what your statement is. WB have made a WB animation group studio, right? Which is a completely different thing to the TV shows, and that's where you gotta get your facts straight on that. It's just that Young Justice, it's basically WB, the old regime, were looking just to throw it out there and see what sticks. And WBD are now like saying, look, what we got to make sure that it reaches the public audience. The general audience is the main key focus right now, and got to make it big and blockbuster and entertaining and all of that.
And going to PK, he says the last 2 seasons of Young Justice, when it was brought back, felt like the stories were stretched out too long. Yes, there were way too many episodes where nothing happens. Particularly the beginning of. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Didn't they do like 24 episodes or something? Like it's like I thought like the standard was like 12 now. You know,
the problem is that yes, you can do more episodes, but they also made the episodes super like short. Like what they should have done is like combine 2 episodes into one and make it like a 40-minute episode. That would have been great. It's because they're telling they split up the story so much that it's real that it just takes a lot to get through it. You had, and particularly when it's being released weekly instead of all at once, at some point someone's going to be like, okay, there's nothing happening, I'm just going to drop off. And Jared Heath says, speaking of the CW of the Flash, CW has always been a waste, but with the Arrowverse dead, it's just a lost cause. Flash is the CW, all of it. Yeah, they just sold it off, so that's interesting. And then Medina says, people don't even remember Mob City as the show in which the Punisher kills the guys who founded Las Vegas. Yes, this happens in the show. Really? That sounds dope. PK says he's been watching Dragon Ball Z recently, mostly because it cut out the unnecessary filler arcs. Yeah, that's a good idea. Personally, I think season 4 arcs were fantastic. Yes, the arcs were good. It's just there's too much filler for the general audience. Here's the thing. We have to think about this not as DC fans. We have to think about this as the general audience, because DC fans, we're fine with like episodes that don't necessarily advance the plot but really dive into the lore. The general audience is not into that. It shouldn't be a homework assignment.
Also, like you kind of touched on, alluded to it.
And
was Young Justice is kind of diluting their storyline, where they have like 15 different kind of story arcs you got to kind of check in all at once. And a lot of people, they don't like that kind of style of storytelling, and that's kind of where Harley Quinn. People are more, it's like one storyline that people just watch and follow. It's not cutting back between, and it's not, and then with Young Justice, it's not like, they separate storylines that eventually converge. They're just separate storylines. It's like an anthology show almost. It's, it's like,
yeah,
it's like 3 different shows combined into one.
Plus, with Harley Quinn, here's the thing about Harley Quinn. The overall story is like, so like, I would say, small per se, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So it feels like it's actually just a little episodic show where like it feels like one of those procedural cop shows where like it's a different thing every episode instead of necessarily telling each. And yes, Harley Quinn is working because it's a comedy. People love comedies, particularly a comedy. It has very Rick and Morty like humor, and those are huge.
Where it kind of just acknowledges the real world. Like, it acknowledges kind of the stuff that happens in the real world. Like, you'll have people in Harley Quinn saying we're going to release the Snyder Cut shirts.
Yeah, okay. Here's what I don't understand. Why is the new Batman animated series and Superman? There's a new Superman animated series? Oh, no, yeah, that one.
Yeah, those are in development, though, right, Tevya? Yeah. That's the thing.
I'd love a new Superman animated series animated in the old Fleischer style.
Yeah,
and Tevya, it didn't get enough people in there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Teladia.
The thing is, right, as well, Tevya, is the fact that Young Justice is too old of an animation style. They're going with a different animation style going forward now. They're literally saying that. They're showing that with the Cape Crusader show and Superman. Lois Lane and the Adventures of Superman, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
They're going with a different style. They're not going to use the old animation style, and plus it costs too much money to make each episode these days, according to the showrunner.
Yeah, so it's like at this point, it doesn't make those other shows are cheaper to make. That's really a cheap reason why PK says Harley Quinn's Coming is pretty much what Family Guy's opening theme song is. It seems to today, as we all see.
Wait. I want to do this.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
It seems today that all we see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. And then Dan says that's why I keep saying 24 episodes is too much. There are shows like Aquarius and Justified have 12 episodes and still find space for both filler and longer form story arcs. That's because, and also here's the thing, the problem with Young Justice, going on to that, Dennis, is that the episodes are too short, like way too short for what they do. Because if you have 20-minute episodes, you can't afford to have so many filler arcs, because then you don't have, because then that significantly stretches out the season. Then when you have weeks where it's like a filler episode, people are like, why am I watching this? There's nothing happened. Why am I watching Ms. Martian go grocery shopping at this point?
Yeah,
even if it pays off later. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, like 24 episodes. That's the old network TV format when you basically had shows going all year round, but with a summer break in between. You know. And
yeah, but
nowadays we have streaming shows that maybe go on for 3 months at most. You know, the 12 episode arcs. And tell a tighter, unique story. People just don't have the attention span. You know, that's why they break Young Justice up into 2 blocks, because people won't want to be around for 24 weeks.
And Tevye, yeah, I'm aware it does that, but it's the style of storytelling that's the problem. That's one of the reasons why I think it had trouble holding an audience, like what I just said, because it could tell the entire story of the DC universe and the story that moves forward. Like, take for instance, Justice League Unlimited. All of those episodes seem like they were meant to be there. If they had an arc episode, it was 2 episodes at most. Well, sometimes 4. But my point is that all those episodes served a purpose and were like meant to be there, and that was immediately identifiable by the viewer. Where with this one, it's like if I'm watching an episode of like Ms. Martian goes about her daily routine, and they had too many of those episodes where it's just one after the other like that. So if you have too many of them like that, that's fine for you and me, Tevye, but for the general audience, again, they don't want to sit here and just watch a guy's not punch something. This is a superhero show after all. Yeah, go ahead, Teladia.
Plus, you gotta remember, Young Justice is a 40-minute episode. Season 4, so they're nobody's gonna sit through a 40-minute episode.
Yeah,
nobody.
Yeah, exactly. And particularly if it's just 40 minutes of just, again, like her going on her daily routine, 40 minutes that don't feel important at first. But here's the thing, I understand that like it pays off at the end, because yes, 100%, if you make it to the end of Young Justice, all these arcs make sense. But the problem is that the general audience member is not necessarily going to sit there for the entire season to watch. Unfortunately, and we learned this being Snyderverse fans, the audience apparently wants the story to be done now. And here comes it. There's 6 watching number, only 5 likes. Who is it? Do it. Yes, smash that like button, people. I want to see massive likes.
I mean, you see a similar problem with like the recent crop of Star Wars. I mean, this is just another like but like you have all these plot points in the new Star Wars that make no sense, but then they explain them in the books. Like there's all this backstory, because like even if you like even back in like the prequel days, all the books were supplementary. You could still watch the movies and still have a good time, and maybe there were some minor details that got fleshed out in the books.
Yeah, exactly.
They were all additive. They weren't. They didn't fill in gaps. Like the whole, like for example, Captain Phasma's backstory gets explained in the book, or all the
how she survived episode 7.
Okay, I didn't know that was a thing, and I wish.
Me neither. I'm just taking a guess.
Oh, I was about to say, but yeah, it's like it's like all these plot holes. They explain them in the book, but like most people will not even read that book. The average audience won't. So it's like, why?
Yeah.
By the way, Captain
Mhm.
Phasma is a wasted Gwendolyn Christie.
Oh yes, she's a wasted character in general. Remember how they hyped her up in both movies to be this badass, and they just knock her off both times? I'm like, what the heck?
Okay, I gotta say this. Like, they were trying to make her the next Boba Fett. What's hilarious is, when Force Awakens, the person who got the Boba Fett treatment was TR-8R, the traitor guy. Like, he's the one that everyone just kind of latched onto, like, Boba Fett. Traitor! It's just like, I just find that so hilariously ironic. Like, this is our next Boba Fett, that you're gonna love it. And then, like, TR-8R was, like, the one that people...
And there you go. And by the only reason why episode 7 was moderately tolerable is because it was legit a redo of episode 4. So there you go.
It was such a ripoff.
I know.
It was the great value version of episode 4.
Yeah, so it was the Walgreens version of episode 4. So anyway, so PK says
I want to buy episode 4. We have episode 4 at home. Episode 4 at home.
Yeah, so even Dragon Ball Z had some filler episodes that made sense as breathers between action arcs, like the episodes where all this is forced. Yeah, here's the thing: it's okay to have like one filler episode. That's fine because you need some like breathe. But when it's too many, one after the other, the audience loses attention. Yes, Nick, go ahead.
How many seconds does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
Oh, it takes one, but it takes 5 episodes and Krillin dies in the end.
Oh, wow.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Wow. That just disservice to Krillin. Excuse me.
So,
hey, quit booing me. I'm right.
Yeah. So, Tavia, I know it's disappointing that Young Justice, for now, they didn't necessarily say canceled. They just said they have no plans for right now to do another season. They didn't say canceled. So take that with like a grain of salt. But the thing
they're trying to save face. That could be the case. They're trying to.
It could be, or it could just be this right here.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
Could be just that.
That too.
Could be just that. But you see, the thing is that plenty of popular shows have been canceled. Because unfortunately, here's the thing: when we're fans of a show, it's just hard to admit that sometimes it doesn't click with the general audience. Yeah, I'll take my final moment with John. I know you like the Super Sons, dude. I know you like the Super Sons. You can't do a stream later. This is just gonna be a short stream today.
This is just the 3 of us as well.
Yeah, it's a closed panel. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
You want to know one show that like really pisses me off that they canceled? Tron Uprising. Oh yeah, that show was so good, and that show also ended on a cliffhanger. Like they just done the Uprising. Like I'm a big Tron fan and Tron Legacy, and that show was so freaking good. It just makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Okay, so thank you, Nick. That's actually a good question. What's the one show that was canceled that you guys are really salty was canceled? My personal, by the way, Nick, Jared agrees with you. By the way, my show was Swamp Thing because I was watching. It was worse with Swamp Thing. They canceled it before the first episode came out. I'm like, why? What? And then. Yeah, before the first episode came out, Teladia, they sent out things saying, "Oh yeah, it's canceled." So I'm like, well, that's disappointing.
I remember that. That was a pretty crappy thing to do. It's like,
particularly when the episode ends on a cliffhanger. I'm like, no. Plus, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Teladia.
They did the same thing to Krypton. Krypton, the TV show.
Yeah, I'm currently on the last season of Krypton now, season 2, which actually was really good. So
at least Firefly got like some sort of ending.
At least they got a movie that was an ending, and then they continued it with a comic book series. That's the thing. Also, it's interesting. And by the way, I think you started something, Nick. By the way, it's interesting. At least they're continuing the story of Young Justice in the comics, so they have their own comic for that continuity. So at least they're doing something with it. They're not just throwing out the storyline. Yeah. Although it may be in a different continuity.
Hashtag bring back Tron Uprising.
And by the way, we have a celebrity in the chat. We have Nerdette's Newsstand. What's up, Nerdette? How you doing? I was on her stream a couple of times, and at some point, we will somehow coordinate and get her on the stream. So
Nerds.
you're always welcome, Nerdette. So anyway,
I wish this was my stream because I literally have that clip. I'd be like, nerds.
yeah, I will tell you this, Nerdette. I have like a bunch of Snyder Cut clips, and so I'm just gonna give you this for right now. I gave you that. It's one of the most badass points of the Snyder Cut, so I'm giving you that. So anyway, yes, we are going to talk Jeff Johns nerd out because she and I are big fans of his comic books, particularly Green Lantern, which I think that's pretty much like a given when you're talking about Jeff Johns' comic book writing. Am I right?
Yeah, especially the art. The art.
Yeah, that's the only
really
good thing he's got going for him.
Yeah,
That's the only good thing he's got going for him.
he wrote well, actually, yeah. When it comes to like Jeff Johns' writing, I enjoyed his like Superman Secret Origin book, his Green Lantern book. He's a competent writer. Just when it comes to managing a cinematic universe, he kind of falls apart. So there's got to be a way to convince the higher ups that they should give Young Justice season 5. Well, have people watch it. That's pretty much. But for right now, there's not. It's different than the Snyder Cut, Tevia, because there was a larger outcry for that, and it wasn't just like the animated crowd. The animated crowd is much smaller than the general movie-going crowd. I mean, you can start a hashtag, and that's fine. Have at it. It worked for the Snyder Cut. Maybe lightning will strike twice, but it's less likely to work. I'm just telling you that right now. And PK says most new TV shows should have some foresight to tell one story per season, not to leave a story unfinished before. Yes, because it might not get kept up. Yeah, that's a very good idea. Have one season be like, don't do cliffhangers. Just end it there. Except technically, we got Young Justice back before there was a hashtag. Yeah, that's true. But actually, it was for the same reason as the Snyder Cut, I think, because DC had DC Universe and they needed a big show to grab people. And guess what they brought back? Young Justice.
Yeah, and that was the old regime.
And it did take over 7 years, and it took years for it to come out and work. Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying. It's not. I don't think it could be canceled permanently. I think really at this point it's just on hold. Plus, also here's the thing: buy the comic book, because if you buy the comic book, what that at least shows them is that there's interest in the IP. If there's interest in the IP, they're more likely to actually pursue other projects. And in Aquarius, there was a main story arc, which is about the story of the Mason family, and the filler storylines was essentially a cop show set in the 60s. And all episodes tackle both arcs. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Tevia. It could. I admit to you, I love Young Justice storylines, particularly where it builds up the DC universe, because I think by this point, all of you on the stream, all you on this panel know I'm a massive DC fan. I love all those world building moments. General audience is not going to go for that.
You have a real life. You have a full size Aquaman Trident in the background. I think you're a fan.
Yeah, I think I'm a fan. But yeah, it's heavy, and I admit that. That's why I love talking to you, brother. But here's the thing: is that it's really the structure of the storytelling that let's say that Young Justice is actually canceled permanently. Let's just for a second do a thought experiment. If that DCAU, coordinating a story, yes. In terms of who they pair it up, no, hell no. But anyway, going back to Young Justice, the problem is that they could be telling a fantastic storyline, but the way they structure that storyline is what I think. If it's canceled, killed it, Nick.
Because the problem with like all these cutting back is all you need is one storyline where the audience would be like, oh, great, we're checking up back on Gar again. He's all depressed. All it takes is like one storyline where people are just not interested, and you just kill your show.
And the problem with that is that he didn't really do anything in that series, in that season, besides be depressed. If he had shown up at the end of the season and like shown up and helped in the final battle, that's great. That would have been actually really cool because he sees Connor's still alive, so he doesn't feel depressed anymore. So unfortunately, it's like it kind of like it didn't really work. He said, I would buy physically. I mostly do, but unfortunately, I'm forced to pirate and use the snipping tool to get scans of the Judas contract for my comic to animated movie comparison reviews. Oh, okay. It's a nice little thing to put on the internet that you pirate stuff.
I mean, I pirate too, so you know, it's all good. But
so
go
ahead, Nick.
So Pika's doing a review of the greatest young Teen Titans storyline.
Yes.
My attention.
And they did an animated movie about it too. So I love that.
That movie wasn't too bad, but it was more tied into like the storyline of that universe rather than being a Judas contract movie.
Yeah, and Tevye, yeah, I'll admit, yeah, I don't want it to be canceled. Let's face it. But let me put it this way. Tevye. Let me ask you a thought experiment real quick. Would you rather have, to let them finish the story? Yes, as a Snyder fan, I 100% identify with that. Let me put it this way. Would you rather them delay it now just so they can get the overall DC brand more in order, or just continue it while the brand is like bleeding? I'm never giving up hope. I'm never telling you to. Let me put it this way. You're getting a Super Sons animated movie. Who could have seen that coming? So, and we got the Snyder Cut being released. Weirder stuff has happened before, Tevye. So, you know what? If they announce that that's coming back, I would not be surprised at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we waited 7 years between Young Justice seasons 2 and 3, I think we're going to wait 3 or 4 years between seasons, 4 or 5 or whatever.
And think about it this way, Tevye. It could be that they could also use this time to like refine how they tell those stories. Maybe we shouldn't have so many filler episodes, or maybe we should make the episodes longer so we can tell that same story, but in less episodes too. Because I think that's the other problem. There's too many episodes per season when there's a filler episode. So people are like, okay, I got to read the Bible basically. And the DC AMU is mediocre, but okay. Not mediocre. The Justice League movies were really good.
But I actually do agree with Jared a little bit. Like, I will say that I'm not even gonna say that acronym. It's a mouthful. But like, I wasn't really a Damian fan, but like those movies actually kind of made me feel a little bit better about Damian. But also, I will agree with Jared. They did kind of overuse them a little bit. It's like it's like having like this. It's like, hey, we got this one character that everyone likes. Let's put him in every episode.
And yes, I agree with you, PK. They did my boy Slade Wilson raw. I will say that Deathstroke movie, that animated movie that's like Knights and Dragons, that was dope as hell. Oh my gosh!
I gotta.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like the dragon movie on the 70s, but that's barely even a Batman movie. I'm sorry, Bruce Wayne only suits up like maybe twice. He's not even the main character. Like, I like the movie. But calling it a Batman movie is such a freaking stretch. Like,
well, it's because search engine optimization, Nick.
I get it, but like, I like the movie. I like it. The whole Richard Dragon stuff is really cool. I love the 70s vibe, but it's barely a Batman movie. It just barely meets the requirements. Like, I'm sorry. I've been holding in that rant for a while.
Now, I think we've talked about the canceled animated shows enough. There's another topic I wanted to talk about this week while I have the chance. And by the way, this episode will be available on audio as well on Spotify and all that stuff, because I'm using this as also an Under Two Capes episode. So anyway, now we're going. I will admit, actually, the Justice League movies are good, but Constantine kills it. Yeah, but I will say, you can't. Do not even try to argue with me that Dark Apocalypse War is a bad movie. Do not, because that movie is incredible. Fun fact, that came out like a week or so before the Snyder Cut was announced. And I watched it and I was like, okay, this is getting me back interested in DC. Then the Snyder Cut came out, or was announced.
Justice League versus the Teen Titans, I think, is actually a really good movie. And I do love they gave Starfire a magical girl transformation.
I know.
I will never not be grateful for DC for doing that. Like, I love how they gave them all like a very tokusatsu kind of like they gave them all very different style tokusatsu transformation sequences. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you, DC. Like Blue Beetle, just
Beast Boy. Now, so what I want to talk about. Imagine Young Justice was uncanceled again. Yeah, I know. Imagine that. Let me put it this way. As a Snyder Cut fan, I will tell you, expect anything. Expect anything. So anyway, going back to what
they canceled a $90 million movie, so expect anything.
Yeah, and plus, remember, there was a time when we thought the Snyder Cut was not going to be released, and we all know what happened with that. So now I want to talk about. There's another topic that I want to transition to, and that is, will the Black Adam movie be as successful as The Rock is hyping it up to be?
No.
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 Go ahead, Teladia.
No, and the reason why is basically because The Rock is trying to make it about himself, and he's not saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm trying to think about everybody else." No, he's making it about himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
sorry, go on.
No, and the thing is that he's hyping it up like Black Adam has always been like this pillar of DC, and I'm like, nope. If anything, it's a dude that everyone wants you to fight. So I'm like, dude, I seriously need to do a live stream on this topic. Yeah, exactly. It'll be interesting. Dennis says, embarrassing fact that was done with superhero movies before the Snyder Cut. I didn't even know there was a Snyder Cut before it was announced. A lot of people didn't. So there you go. And Jared agrees with me. But yeah, so go ahead, lady. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that as well. It's just that The Rock is gonna try and make it about himself, and we know what The Rock is like. You've seen it happen in the Fast franchise. Once it made it about himself, it didn't do well.
Mm-hmm. It's really annoying. Well, let me put it this way. I don't think it's going to be like the $1 billion franchise. He keeps talking about how he's going to build like a new build his own DCEU. I don't think so. Nick?
I'm going to make a prediction.
Yeah.
Basically, Black Adam is going to make around the same money that the Batman did. So around $700 million. Around $700 to $800 million is my prediction. It's not going to outdo BVS. Well, you know, I am going to say that. Right. Okay, Teladia has something to say.
Yeah. Also, to add on to it, is the fact that if Henry Cavill is not in Black Adam, then it will bomb. But if Henry Cavill is, it'll make $1 billion. Simple as.
So here's kind of add what Slay says. Black Adam's probably going to have a really strong opening weekend, like most of these movies do. But there you have two timelines of Earth. If Henry Cavill is in it and they just don't say anything, word of mouth will spread that Henry Cavill is in a post-credit scene,
and people will go.
And it will either have a minimal box office drop, or it might actually rise. But if Henry Cavill isn't in it, that same word will spread, and it'll have a huge drop-off. Like, we're probably talking 60 to 70%. Is my prediction.
And by the way, Jarrett, I need to ask, do you mean the Ultimate Edition? Because if you're talking about the standard, the theatrical edition, yes, I will agree with you on that. We were talking about by the way, this is a good time to transition. The three of us, and actually, I believe Teladia is bringing a guest tomorrow, we will be talking about BVS on Snyder Sunday. We're doing it tomorrow so I can accommodate the guests, but it's going to be, we're going to talk all about BVS Ultimate Edition. In other words, the only edition that exists.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure that to drop that in.
There's an edition that isn't Ultimate. I'm not aware of this other edition. I thought Ultimate Edition was the only thing.
Yeah, I know. Because the Rock stopped anyone else from being cast as Black Adam in any other show or movie because he apparently called dibs. Yeah, and I love where he said I didn't want him to show up in the Shazam movie because I thought it would disrespect the character. And I'm like, you do realize? Oh, and thank you. I'm like, you do really? I'll give you that. Anyway, I love how The Rock was like, I didn't want him to show up in the Shazam trailer because I wanted to show respect for the character. Your character is a Shazam villain. You're not a Superman villain. And
Black
also,
Adam is literally the Joker of the Shazam verse. He is like the marquee villain of the Shazam verse. Like,
and then I have a strategy.
It's a disservice not to show up. It's a disservice not to show up. You're disrespecting the character by not showing up. So congratulations, you're an a-hole.
Yeah, Dan Medina says, I have the strategy. Wait until day one is done. Once the news comes in about the status of the Superman appearance, if Henry Cavill appears, we all go in day two. That's actually not a bad strategy right there.
That's smart. Like, I got to give them props.
I got to be honest. I'm kind of on Tevia's side here because I love the JSA, particularly Hawkman. And wait, I want to see Brosnan as Dr. Fate. That's what I want to see.
I'm going to Black Adam for Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate because I'm all about that. Like, he is such perfect casting for Dr. Fate. Like, oh my god, like I want to see a Dr. Fate movie now. Like seriously.
I'm more surprised that they're keeping the Flash, probably because Ezra apologized and they went with option one. Then again, something good happened.
His PR team wrote that. I guarantee you, he he never even looked at that.
All right, Black Adam ending or post-credit scene will tell us the current status about Henry Cavill. Can you imagine if Superman does show up, but it's like from the neck down? Can you imagine?
Headless Superman,
headless or shadowed. Can you imagine the people will walk out?
You know what I would do if I was DC? I'd like have it be like, kind of like have him hover below there, and then just have him slowly.
Yeah, make you think it's a headless camera, and the camera just wait, have the camera do this. It's on the S and then stops, making you think it's one of those, and then just goes, wait, sorry.
No, even better. It like kind of stops right here, then you start to see Henry Cavill talk, and then it pans up.
Yeah, I know exactly. Exactly.
Right.
It's Warner Brothers it's Zaslav screwing with us just as a joke. And by the way, yes, it is a 50-50 coin toss, unfortunately. And
wait. I guess that means you got to toss a coin to your Witcher.
Oh, Valley of Plenty. Thank you, you ass. I have that stuck in my head now. And if this were Nick's stream, I believe he'd have a certain drop in about a bard. So
F you bard.
Yeah, exactly. People will not only walk out, we'll demand our money back. Yeah, I get the feeling people are going to be pissed with The Rock if he doesn't show, because also The Rock himself has been hyping up Superman showing up.
Well, he's been hinting at it. Like if you notice, he's been very careful not to even like go anywhere near even denying it. Like he's trying to he's talking very carefully to just be like, it almost seems like he's trying very hard to walk the line, like winging at the camera.
But here's the thing. If Superman were not in this movie, do you really think he would spend so much time talking about Superman v Black Adam?
Wait, go back to what Dennis says. Freya Allen would actually do a really good Supergirl. To be honest, he's got the look, he's got the acting chops. She would actually be a really good Supergirl. Dennis,
I can see that.
Something.
Mm-hmm. Was Freya Allen the girl in the series?
Yeah.
I had to remember who that is, and now that I remember, yes, that would work. That would 100% work. She looks like Supergirl.
I mean, look at the way they interact in the show. It would be a perfect kind of younger cousin, older cousin dynamic. It would work so well.
Yeah, exactly. And for that, Dennis, I will give you this.
Amazing.
Sorry, I just saw a really good idea. I had to
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's part of the reason why I keep you here. You're my good idea magnet guy. So now, in terms of once again, I still think that the Black Adam is going to be a one and done movie because I don't think it's going to do as well as The Rock thinks it's going to do. And second off, Zaslav is not going to want to build an entire DC universe surrounded against Black Adam. Sorry.
I can see them maybe doing a Legion of Doom kind of scenario. They did kind of start to hint at it in Justice League, but which is the only really good idea I think they had. Okay, do it.
Why did you say that name?
Why, Nick? Why?
Why?
You know what? For that, I'm moving to Teladia above you for that one.
Yes.
You're now up there, Teladia. Good work. So, being that Billy and Superman know each other, I can see a post-credit scene of Billy calling Superman with the news of the JSA fighting Black Adam in the background, and Superman answers the phone. Yeah, that would be interesting. But that would be interesting if that's the way they do it. He doesn't even show up in the suit. I think Jeff Johns is writing a JSA comic in November. Yes, I saw that. It actually looks really decent. So Teladia, you've been pretty quiet. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, Teladia hasn't spoken. Let Teladia speak.
Yeah, go ahead. In terms of all this about Black Adam,
I just think it all depends on if Henry Cavill comes back. If he does come back, it's gonna make millions, billions, millions, and millions of The Rock fans, as he so-called say it, will be tuning into that movie. Yeah, Nick, what are you gonna say?
I just thought of a really funny scene. For some reason, the fighting actually goes to Metropolis, and Billy calls Superman because he has his number for some reason, and it's like you see the phone rings and like Henry Cavill answers it, but he's wearing like his Clark Kent get up, and like hey, I'm fighting him, I'm in your city, and then like you see them go by the window. It's like, yeah, I can see that. Like,
yeah, that would be awesome.
It's like, Billy, you got this. I gotta go to work. And then he like hangs up the phone, puts on his Clark Kent glasses, and walks out the door.
Or better yet, no, all it goes is that it's like he goes, yeah, I'm going to work, and then you see him walk toward the camera and do the shirt rip.
No. Even better. So they're in Metropolis, and they're in and it's like. And like, oh crap, Bruce is gonna kill me, and then he walks out and takes his shirt off. It's like destroying Metropolis again. So it's like,
yeah,
he just says, oh, Bruce is gonna try and kill me again.
Yeah, maybe the idea that Clark and Lois appear on the planet, seeing news of Black Adam, and then Lois looks at Clark and says, "Look, like someone's gonna be busy." That would work.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Like and you kind of bring back like. Please bring back Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White again. I just want to see.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing: is that it's again, it's not going to be that big thing, and Zaslav said so because guess what? Who did he say multiple times are going to be the center of the DC universe?
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, not Black Adam, because Black Adam is in my mind a B-list character. I would say B at least because he's gotten more.
B.
I say B because he spent a good amount of time in the Justice League. He was a key player in Endless Winter. He's key enough player in enough of DC Comics that I think he's at least a little higher.
Well, to me, a B-list character is someone like Nightwing, Huntress,
True.
Whatnot, where like people like the general audience might still know them. Whereas C-list characters are like Plastic Man, where it's like. Audience members might know them on the periphery, but like not as much. I say Black Adam is a C-list character. D-list,
I see that.
Only fans really know about the character. Like Kite Man.
Okay, you know what?
D-list.
That makes a lot more sense. I definitely agree with that. So I'm going to give you this.
Oh gosh, yes.
There you go. I love that clip. Could be worse than Jimmy Olsen getting shot in the face or Dick Grayson killed by the Joker off screen. The Dick Grayson thing makes sense. Just going to add that. We will talk about tomorrow. By the way, Nick, I made a BVS, but it's just Perry White montage. That would be great. You should DM me on Twitter, and I'll put that, and I'll share it. It looks great. That actually sounds very interesting.
I'm a huge Lawrence Fishburne fan, and I think he does a great job as Perry White, so I might have to watch that.
Crime wave in Gotham. In other news, water wet. That was so good.
The worst part is when you were saying that, I heard that in Lawrence Fishburne's voice.
Mm-hmm. So I was reminded somewhere that The Rock has a clause in his acting contract that he can never lose a physical confrontation against someone else, which is what he got in the past. That's just a stupid clause, though. I can never lose. That's why I'm like, I don't want him to fight Superman because Superman would destroy Black Adam, and I don't want Superman feeding The Rock's massive ego.
I gotta say, Black Adam is actually one of the few people who actually gives Superman a run for his money because some of Black Adam's attacks Superman doesn't because the electrical is magical in nature, so Superman doesn't have any defenses for magical attacks. And he's not weak against magic; he doesn't have any defenses for it. So Black Adam is a character, and Shazam as well, that could actually be a legitimate threat to Superman. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, he would give him a threat for his money, but it's not that much. But I don't think it's that I don't think he's that strong enough to actually just defeat Superman. Sorry, Dwayne. Particularly the Zack Snyder Superman who straight up destroyed Steppenwolf. I'm sorry. As soon as I saw this scene, I'm like, no, Black Adam's getting killed.
Not impressed.
I really hope that okay, this is how I want to see the Superman entrance, where Black Adam is throwing a punch and Superman's like, and you see it and he's like, not impressed.
Yeah, that becomes a catchphrase by Jarrett. Are you talking about the comics or the animated movie? Those are or the games, because those are three different things. The animated movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Is pretty good. I think the game storyline is pretty good.
Game storyline is great. Comic storyline is good. Movie storyline is too condensed.
No, too bad. Too bad. Get it right.
Yeah, too bad. Okay. Yeah, the movie's god awful. Yep. There you go. They put too much in there. And it's like for 90 minutes.
I feel like the Injustice storyline is like the best Superman going bad storyline they've ever done. And I like the whole setup of like Superman basically Lois Lane, pregnant Lois Lane. Like, that would be the thing to get him to go off the deep end and to do the whole regime stuff. Like, I actually really feel like the setup is super strong. Sorry, go ahead.
But here's the thing, though. In Injustice 2, they actually added to that in retcon that it wasn't just Lois Lane getting killed, because she's been killed before and he hasn't gone evil. It was Wonder Woman that pushed him to be the dictator, because as she said, we needed Clark to control man's world.
Are you kidding me, by the way?
In terms of what? This?
They slaughtered that.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's a slaughter of Wonder Woman's character. They totally slaughtered her.
But it's the evil Wonder Woman if you read the comics. I'm sorry.
Wait, so you're saying that the Wonder Woman in that main universe of DC continuity was always evil? That doesn't make sense.
She was, if you read her origin comic. Wait, okay, so Teladia shared something interesting here. I'm going to share my screen right here. Let me just get this pop-up away. It says here, this just in, Fandango can exclusively reveal that the re-release of Spider-Man No Way Home will feature 11 minutes of new footage when it arrives in theater. Wait, what?
Again? Third time round?
They're trying to get more money. They're trying to, it's just like when they re-released Endgame into theaters because they wanted to dethrone Avatar.
Yeah, and then he says, Injustice movie was like Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works movie before it turned into a 26-episode anime series. And why does an evil Wonder Woman even exist? Okay, so the story is Steve Trevor washes up on shore. It's the typical story. Except, okay, so it's during World War II. Now, in terms of Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man, okay, I'll give you that one. Okay, so
as a Tobey fan,
yeah, I'll give you that one, except for his dancing. But anyway, so in this one, she shows up. Steve shows up. It's the typical Wonder Woman story. She leaves and goes to man's world, fights in World War II. They have like an homage to the No Man's Land scene in Wonder Woman. Except this time, okay, so she comes back because they need a weapon that can extract the truth from people, hence the lasso of truth. Steve shows up, he's captured, and he ends up killing an Amazon. Then it turns out Steve's been a Nazi this entire time. So, and then Wonder Woman herself kills him.
Where is my gun? Because I have the sudden urge to just shoot myself.
Oh, you mean like this?
Death by Batmobile. Perfect. Death by Batmobile.
But here's why that works. Because there have been plenty of other storylines where Superman has lost Lois Lane, and guess what? Doesn't turn evil. He's gone brutal, but so he's essentially, he has let go occasionally, but it wasn't just that. In fact, in the Snyderverse, it's not just Lois Lane dying. It's the anti-life equation taking over him. In Injustice, it's just Lois Lane dying and like the nuke going off. So I'm just like, it's a tad unrealistic for that one thing to do that, to lead to that. And yeah, I agree with you on that. But okay, I have to do this. You started doing the dancing. If you're going to do a superhero civil war, yeah, Kingdom Come would be the one. Kingdom Come was a way better DC Civil War. Was it a Civil War? Yeah, actually it was. It was a DC Civil War because there were proportions where Batman's team fought Superman's team. So yeah, it was.
You know what would be really interesting? You know how Arcane had that kind of like painted style to it?
Mm-hmm.
What if they did a Kingdom Come miniseries, but it was painted to look like an Alex Ross did all the panels?
Yes, that would be great. I think it was less Lois deaths, but also Superman giving up and being Clark. But what was the But it wasn't just that, because what was the event that led up to because before he even revealed his Superman Clark Kent identity, it was the Lois Lane getting killed, and then he showed up on the UN and said, "No, I'm ruling now. Sorry, guys." It was really just that. Because also, Superman has given up being Clark Kent before. Hasn't turned into a dictator. So I think that reveal, and plus here's the thing, Wonder Woman has always been like an influence on Clark as a hero. Granted, the Snyderverse is too young for people to be able to properly see this. Hopefully we get a Superman Wonder Woman crossover movie. But anyway, she's always been like, first off, she I think is his closest friend more than Bruce, because they align more in terms of how they go about superheroing. That's why them being a couple works.
And some continuities, they're really close.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about that. New 52, baby. I have that comic. So, but
I think we lost Teladia. I think he's rebooting.
Teladia, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm just rebooting.
Yeah, all right. Speaking of the Kingdom Come, I want to think if the student Damon Wayne are different, because it's not like the demon. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I think that's my point. Is that it makes sense that Wonder Woman would be the one to turn Superman to that area. Plus, if you have an Amazon Wonder Woman that never grew up, surrounded by that never necessarily grew up trusting man's world or like trusting men, because remember that whole experience shattered her trust in man's world. It makes sense that when Clark has the capability to rule, she would push him toward that. And plus, it actually weighs on Wonder Woman's conscience, because when she's exposed to the Scarecrow fear toxin in the game storyline, her fear is that she, to quote Jonathan Crane, is, "You fear you've corrupted him." So it's really, it's not like she's like 100% like guiltless. I'm sure she has guilt, but then again, it's like, oh, okay, it's a necessary evil in her mind. So that's just all I'm gonna say. Now back to what we were talking about.
But
yeah.
I was gonna say that, going back to original topic, which is Young Justice being cancelled or
go ahead.
on hold. I really think that this might be it. I think Zaslav is probably gonna say, look, we can't afford it, and put it out there, because the general audience isn't gonna exactly exactly gonna put it out there, exactly gonna eat it up and everything. So but we'll see though. What in your final thoughts, because we're coming up to the hour mark now. What is your final thoughts on this?
I think it's sad that it's getting canceled. I understand. Well, canceled as far as we know. I understand why it was at least put on hold. I get it. Oh, Nick, you have something you want to say?
I just looked up the Injustice wiki, and Scarecrow is voiced by Robert Englund, aka Freddy Krueger, so they are correct.
Oh, okay, cool. So anyway, it's like, I'm sad it was canceled because I love the show. That's really me. I felt it was it was essentially, I think, our generation's Justice League Unlimited, because it provided like a view to so much of the DC universe. But I understand why it was canceled. I understand the problems people had with it, because remember, it was more niche than we think. I at least believe. So so those are really my thoughts. And by the way, Nick, you have a fan. And by the way, you can subscribe to Nick at Phoenix Press. So
and then follow me. And you can Twitter at Project Access One.
And you can subscribe to Teladia at Teladia Plays, and then it's the same name for all your social media, right?
Yeah, everything is Teladia Plays, guys. Well, I come for Gotham Knights, so if you're into that type of thing, Injustice, Gotham Knights, and all that good jazz, that's what I do.
Yeah, I talk about comic books. I promote my comic books. I'm a comic book writer myself. Since we're all DC fans, I got a really coal comic Screecher coming out, very Batman inspired ish, and then yeah.
So before we end, actually, I'm going to go around and like your thoughts on Young Justice being air quotes canceled. Teladia, you first.
Well, I think the fact that it's getting cancelled is a bummer, in my opinion. And the fact is as well
Yeah, it
that
got canceled.
not necessarily. By the way, just to let you guys know, Gotham Knights didn't get cancelled officially.
I thought it did.
No, you got the guy backtracked. The Bio reported on that.
Oh,
Backtracked on that.
jeez.
But in terms of where Young Justice, I think if it gets cancelled permanently, oh boy, a whole can of worms will be open. But if it says, oh, we'll release it, maybe let's say give it a year, we want to sort out the DC movie stuff, then I understand perfectly fine.
So is the
Yeah, I don't think Gotham Knight. I don't think the video game's gonna get canceled. I think it's kind of too late in development. It's got too much. Of
no, we're talking about the show Gotham Knights.
Oh, I hope the show gets canceled.
Yeah,
but real quick,
the stupidest part of the show is that Batman gets killed. He's wearing a suit with the cowl on.
Real quick, I just want to give a shout out to My Comics. So if you're looking for a good samurai cyberpunk adventure, this one's got you covered.
And I reviewed it on the channel if you guys want to check it out. So on that note, and by the way, I may or may not have a interesting announcement coming down next week about a certain IP that may or may not be showing up on this channel pretty soon.
Ooh.
So I'll tell you guys off stream because I want it to be a surprise.
You better.
Yeah, but so anyway, that's a good place to, I think, leave it, Nick, unless you have any other thoughts on the Young Justice being canceled.
It sucks. Hopefully it'll rise again, but it is what it is. That's
hopefully it acts like a phoenix.
I mean, if you must press the issue.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's like all of a sudden it should come out and say, "I am Phoenix." Not even a cowl; it's a 3D printed masquerade mask. Yeah, I know. It's not. They're not even trying at that point. So on that note, before I get even more pissed and start going on rants about how horrible the CW is, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed this, gentlemen. It was a pleasure having you on the live stream. And oh yeah, we will see you tomorrow for BVS Defended.
Yes. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. And on that note, all right. See you guys later. Stay heroic. Bye-bye.